Yes, sir. We're officially back at it. This is Boog Nice coming at you with the Hascon 2017 exclusive Marvel Legends X-Force Deadpool figure review. Let's do it.
This ain't for no scalper. You a scalper? Then fuck out shit. This one's for them real collectors. That's army building and posing figures. Marvel Legends, imports, mini Mayfield fucking with them. Hype beast, we know about you. Stay buying figs, don't know about it.
And there's a quick look at the artwork on the right flap. And I don't want to get too much glare here, but on the front it says Uncanny X-Force and Deadpool on the lower portion of the package. We're looking at the Uncanny X-Force Deadpool figure, and this guy is pretty much what you would expect if you already have the version from the Juggernaut Build-A-Figure wave. A few minor differences here. Obviously the deco is the major difference, but we'll get into all the little intricate details momentarily. This is Hasbro's second crack at Deadpool in this particular costume. They did one back during the Return of Marvel Legends era on a buck that is now very outdated and does not really look that great in comparison to this one, which is on the Bucky Cat mold. Most of you are familiar with that mold. I will do some comparisons to the original version, but that original version was not really comic book accurate, whereas this guy is pretty damn accurate to the comics. I'll show a picture of him from that particular run in the comics real quick. I will say that in the first 4 issues of that run, on the cover of the book, he looked pretty much exactly how he looks right here. But inside the book, there were some variations in his costume as far as the harness is concerned and as far as his boots go. But by the 5th issue, he was pretty much back to looking how he looks right here, with some minor differences on his chest harness. So while this is the most accurate that we've received so far, you can kind of tweak this and do some kit bashing to get him even more comic book accurate. So yeah, I always recommend books for you guys to read as I'm going through figures sometimes, and they spark memories. But that run on Uncanny X-Force, this was back in 2010 or 2011 when it launched, was excellent. It was very good writing. The art was excellent. All of the characterizations for each of the team members was spot on. It was just some amazing storytelling. And even the run before that, which was just titled X-Force, that had the original team of Warpath, Wolfsbane, X-23, and Wolverine, was very good too. Real gruesome, a lot of blood, a lot of gore. It was great. But anyway, back to the figure. Let's look at his accessories real quick. Quite a few accessories packed in with this guy. You get these 2 swords. I can see a little paint splotch on this one here, but these are pretty much the same swords that we've been receiving with just about every figure that wields a sword for the past 10 years or better. Nothing special here. They're a little warped. I probably need to do a hot water, cold water trick on them, but they can be sheathed in the harness on his back with no issue. In fact, it's a very snug fit back there, and that may be why there's some paint rub. I'm not sure, but I'll get those in. And then he also comes with this pistol, which is the same pistol that we received with the Juggernaut Build-A-Figure version, except it's painted really stupidly and looks goofy. I don't know if it's supposed to be a water pistol or what, but it's blue with an orange tip, and that looks dumb. But this was actually in his leg holster out of the package, so that holsters with no problem. He also comes with a little knife, same knife as the Juggernaut Build-A-Figure version, but only difference is there's nowhere to sheath this knife because he doesn't have the same boots from that version. So you get the knife but nowhere to actually put it, unfortunately. And then he's got a set of matching guns, and these look like the same guns that we received with the AIM Soldier, and I hate these. They look stupid, and the color scheme is stupid as well, but he can hold both of these with no issue. So yeah, very snug fit with these in his hand, and his finger is actually in the trigger groove, so that's cool. I just don't like these guns. I really wish they would have given us the dual guns that they gave us with the other version. I mean, I understand though. I mean, they're switching it up a bit. It's a con exclusive. It's different, so it is what it is. It also comes with this assault rifle, same gun we received prior, but the color scheme is different. The way this gun looks is not too bad as far as the colors go on this one, but again, I would have liked all of the guns to be painted more realistically. And he can hold this with no problem, although the handle here is a little gummy. And, you know, this is a little flimsy as well. It's not as sturdy to the touch as I would like. Then he comes with the rocket launcher again. Only difference is that this one is all black instead of green. And it has the word boom scribbled across the close to the barrel. And I like the all black version, even though I did like the military-esque look of the green one. I think the all black one looks better in my opinion. And like the green one, this can actually be positioned on his back to look like it's packed in on his harness. But before I do that, I'll show another accessory that they packed in for this. A little flare effect. This looks like it's repurposed from one of the movie Iron Man figures, but that does fit into the barrel. It's coming apart here. I guess this can come off. I don't know if that's supposed to come off or not. That just happened for the first time, but it can fit in the barrel, and so you could get like a blast effect with him shooting a rocket launcher, which was a nice touch. That was cool. Yeah, that wasn't broken or anything, so it is working fine. And there's that with all the gear on, so that's cool. I really like that about the first version of this figure. And then he comes with the taco again. I don't think there are any differences between this one and the one prior. His head pops off with no issue. He also comes with the unmasked Deadpool head again. I noticed that this little collar here is a separate piece, so if you wanted to take that off for whatever reason, you could. There's that, and that looks good. And I thought there were some slight differences between this head and the one that we first received. I thought this one seemed a little more detailed, but upon further inspection, they're pretty much exactly the same. And my version here came out pretty good. I did like a little mini picture review on Instagram using my boy Danny's open version, and his unmasked head was a little off with the paint. I noticed that mine here looks a little better. So, and I'll go over his articulation very quickly because most of you are pretty familiar with this buck. It's the same buck we've been receiving for quite some time. The head is on a ball joint. It'll look down pretty far. It'll look up pretty far. Shoulders on a ball joint. They'll go up that far. Do a full 360. Upper bicep swivel. Double jointed elbow. A swivel and a hinge on the wrist. Ab crunch will go down that far forward. It'll go just that far back. You do get waist articulation. There is a T-joint at the pelvis. The legs will come up that far. A split will look like that. Upper thigh rotation. Double jointed knee. You do get rotation at the upper boot or at the calf or the shin. You do get a hinge and a pivot on the foot. And that's pretty much it. Standard articulation for this side by side with the Return of Marvel Legends Epic Hero version on the left and the Juggernaut Build-A-Figure Wave version on the right. And you can see the differences between the three. The Return of Marvel Legends version, like I said, that body, although it did incorporate those butterfly joints and it did have a pretty decent articulation scheme, the proportions of the body were just weird. Look how skinny the legs are. It didn't have any articulation at the lower calf or the shin, and the feet were very small, so it was hard for you to stand him. And you know, the legs just look really, really thin. They got the harness all wrong as far as how he looked in the comics. It wasn't close to any version, and you know, it was just okay. It's funny what we will settle for. When we really want something, we'll say, all right, you know, this is all right. But, you know, looking back at this now, this was not really acceptable. And then you can see the differences between the Juggernaut Build-A-Figure Wave version. Like I said, obviously the lower legs, the boots are different. I can see people getting their kit bash on and swapping out the boots and putting the more military style boots on this new X-Force version. I can see a lot of different things going to happen with the harness and everything, but the pouches around the waist, you can see they're different. The Juggernaut Build-A-Figure Wave version has the grenades on it, and he has the pistol holster on the harness around his waist, as well as the one on his thigh, and those look to be the same, just colored differently. So, you know, pretty good, not bad. And there he is side by side with two of his teammates. So you have the X-Force 3-pack Wolverine on the left. This was the SDCC exclusive for 2012, if I'm not mistaken. And actually, this Wolverine is supposed to go with the X-Force that came before the team that Deadpool joined. They re-released another version of Wolverine, which I'll show in a second, where the color scheme was just a tad bit different. And then on the right, you have Psylocke, who was outdated the moment that you took her out of that package back in 2012. This particular body, I mean, it just did not translate well, and there was a lot of QC issues with this figure with the knee, if I remember correctly. Luckily, they just announced that we're going to be getting a new Psylocke. Not sure what they're going to do, though, because it'll be a classic 90s Jim Lee style Psylocke, and it won't be this particular version. Will we get a variant on that new buck to go with this team? Only time will tell. And real quick before I show that other Wolverine, this Warpath is the one that matches this Wolverine from the 3-pack from that original X-Force team, or the first version of the New Age X-Force team. We never really got anywhere close to completing that team, but also what they did announce at Hascon this past weekend was that they're going to be putting out X-23, and she's in her costume that she should be sporting with Wolverine and Warpath. I hope I'm not confusing you here. Keep up. And there's that second Wolverine that they offered, and you can see that the mask, the top of the mask, is almost like a silver color, as is the stripe down the side of his rib cage and legs on the SDCC version on the far left. The other difference is that the SDCC version's claws were really like shiny, like a metallic sort of look to them, and then they started giving them dull claws with every version of Wolverine thereafter. And on the second one on the right that they released, they didn't bother putting the hair on his arms. The skin tone is just a tad bit different, and both of these Wolverines are on old buck. We still would need them to update Wolverine on this newer buck that they put out in the Juggernaut Build-A-Figure wave with the X-Force color scheme. So a lot of tricky things going on. I don't know if we're going to really get them to give us a complete updated X-Force team. We'll see. There you go. The team does look good together, but we are still kind of all over the place as far as the amount of time between each of these releases, and how they actually stack up together as far as the proper height. And we definitely want to get this version of Wolverine on the smaller buck, and we may want to get Archangel updated. I feel like a lot of people didn't get Archangel with this design from that box set, so that price is still pretty high on the secondary market. Like I mentioned, we definitely need an updated Psylocke. And even though we got this version of Deadpool just now, they're about to release another Deadpool in the Sasquatch Build-A-Figure wave that is updated with the butterfly joints, and it's just basically a better mold altogether for Deadpool. Then we got Phantom X here, who is in dire need of an update, and he's been in the X-Force books from this first run on. And I'm not sure what he's doing right now in the comic books. But, again, while this group does look good together, it is a complete team. We do still need quite a bit of updates from Hasbro as far as X-Force goes. Deadpool was $19.99 at Hascon. I am pretty certain that they're going to be putting up whatever stock they have left over on Hasbro Toy Shop sometime in the near future. Exactly when that's going to be, I'm not sure. Somebody had asked about the back of the box, which you saw in the very first opening scene of this review. There were no other figures shown on the back of the box, so there was no real indication as to if this figure will be re-released with a regular wave, or if this will be a true exclusive. It's a good possibility that it may show up at New York Comic Con as an exclusive next month, but then again, we don't know. Hasbro is probably not going to show up at New York Comic Con because they just had their own event, and then they usually do a private event the day or the night before the first day of New York Comic Con. So we're not really sure what's going to happen, but right this moment on the Articulated Comic Book Art website, there is a drawing for you to get in to win a Hascon exclusive Deadpool. The link for that will be in the description below. You can get in for as little as $3. Aside from that, our 30 count variety pack of ACBA cutouts are on sale on the website as well. That link will be in the description below. And don't forget to check out my interview with Dwight Stahl, which was uploaded to the channel yesterday. Check that out. And I'm going to be releasing the footage from the panel and hopefully I'll get the updated images from Hasbro to put in with that video. I'm hoping to get that done by tomorrow, but stay tuned. I got a lot of stuff to put out on the channel. Thanks for hanging out. As always, rate, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, peace.